Mark, good to see you. Today you have 3 tips for how to have a conversation about money and financial values with your kids. Teaching kids about money and financial values isn't just about preparing them for financial success. It's about teaching them responsible decision making, boosting their confidence, and reducing their vulnerability to scams and manipulation. And Mark, for the most part, they're not learning this in school.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, Aaron. Unfortunately, our schools can do really good jobs in many other areas, but as far as teaching our kids just how to pay bills and those sorts of things, I think there's a lot of room to grow in that area. And financial literacy really needs to be put back on the docket and introduced back into the school system. But I think for the most part, it really gets back to the parents, being responsible and being able to guide and coach their kids through this, teaching them about not just saving money, but how to invest money, how to spend money, how to pay bills, those sorts of things.
Right. Yeah. Well said. So let's get into those tips then. Your first tip is to tailor your approach to their age and understanding. So break down young children versus tweens versus teens.
Yeah, so when you talk about young children, this might be ages between 5 and 8. I mean, you really need to keep it very simple, very basic. But it might be things like understanding at that age, they want more than they need, obviously, and it's kind of understanding that. But it could be like, hey, if you do these chores, we'll give you an allowance, and then they can save the money to get the want. But ultimately, you really need to instill earning versus spending, saving versus using. And, so you can see in the slide, obviously you got spend, save, share. You could create these 3 jars, and they could based on that allowance, they could put certain amounts of money in each of those jars. So they start understanding the concept. And then when they see the money on the saving side building up, they're going to go, wow, that I now have a lot of money that I can now buy that Nintendo or whatever it may be, 6 or 8 months. Or maybe you start introducing them to basics of investing a little bit too. And there's lots of different ways that can be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but budgeting it like that sure is helpful. I also like that they can see it visually. All right, your second tip is using everyday opportunities to teach, like grocery shopping.
Yeah, so I know one interesting thing. My kids are 18 and 20, and when they were in elementary school, they did have some classes that I was really happy about because they actually took them to it was kind of a mock city, and they had money and they could spend it, and they had a checkbook. So those are things I'm seeing in the school systems that are different, but these are things that we can teach our kids at home too when they're a little bit older in terms of actually budgeting money, spending money, and really maybe having a bank account. And a lot of our business owner clients will actually make their kids clients, employees, and then they'll pay them a small wage, but then they'll force them to start saving that like into a Roth IRA or something like that.
Yeah, that is.
Even if you don't own a business, those are still things that you can do with those children.
Yeah, well said. All right, and your third tip, of course, is to lead by example.
Yeah, so lead by example. Obviously, we want to be transparent about what we're doing. And again, if we're in debt, that's not leading by example. But if we say, look, we're in debt, this is how we're going to get out of debt, and you can teach your kids that. But really, what we want to teach our kids is not to spend more than we make. Mm-hmm. And it's very difficult in our society because our society is built on instant gratification or, buy now, pay later. And if we can instill saving, it's like, look, pay yourself first. That's the most important thing that you should do. If we can instill that into our children at a very young age, they are going to be successful in their life in terms of building wealth and being able to retire and live comfortably throughout the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm. Right. And the key is having this conversation as early as possible, really. So, Mark, if somebody would like your help to get the ball rolling so they can start speaking with their kids about money, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, so you can reach us. Just pick up the phone, give us a call. Phone number is 303-681-0113. We'd love to talk to you further about this. Or you can go to our website. It's mcgregorwealth.com. In there, you'll find a link to my calendar. And you can pick and choose a time. We can either do a phone call, Zoom call, an in-office appointment, whatever your preference is.
Great. Mark, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Erin. Have a wonderful week.